Hello everyone once again and welcome to Planet Cinema with your hosts Luke and...
Joe, I'm also here.
Oh, not the line I wanted.
I can't do intros.
It's not the line I wanted, Joe.
It's whatever you want it to be.
There we go, trademark.
That's from the first video.
Yes.
Which you should go back to. It's a long one though.
Yeah.
It's a long one.
So we just want to say quickly, thank you for the support on the first video. Obviously our channel hasn't long started. If you like what you see, drop a subscribe and that. I just want to say, just thank you. We got 50 views on our first video pretty quickly, within a matter of days, and that is a really strong start, so thank you for that so much. That video, if you want to go check it out, was top 10 films you may or may not have heard of. This month's film video is going to be the career overlook of Samuel L. Jackson. This is our first of our actor overlook series, and we thought we'd start off with a big film personality.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson, the highest grossing box office actor of all time. You know that?
I do that.
Yeah, because I texted that to you.
Oh, don't take credit for that.
Yeah, I'm taking credit for that.
Don't take credit for that.
I think he's got like 11 billion for his combined films, but he's been about 150 or something.
Because
I don't know how many films he's been in.
Generally, over the look of his career, he's been in just loads of different of these successful like cinematic universes. So like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Wars, just generally all these big draws
Most
for the
of
crowds.
Tarantino's films as well. Which, yeah. Well, have you seen any?
I don't think I am.
Oh, you're missing out, Luke. You're missing out. Missing out on it.
Alright, so as
fiction.
you see, or maybe can't see from here, there's a couple of film DVD box I was able to locate that Samuel L. Jackson has been in, and as we go over, we are going to talk from start to finish. Now, a quick notice. Obviously, Samuel L. Jackson has had hundreds of films he's been in or cameoed in. This list will almost certainly not contain every single film he's been in, but these films are some of his bigger draws too, and more people will recognise these films. So this is a general overlook. We can't do everything because we'd have to be a supercomputer to do that. So just a quick notice.
Not a supercomputer though.
Joe,
Maybe I'm a robot.
he overexceeds
It's a
his...
conspiracy theory.
If you went to Sprouse and I would see how much he overworks. But alright, so...
That's it, I guess.
Okay, I guess let's start. Okay, so, starting off would be his cameo in 1988 from Coming to America.
Right, so Coming to America, if you have a chance to seek it out, you should do it. It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's Eddie Murphy. You know Eddie Murphy?
Donkey. Shrek. The most legendary childhood series ever.
They're going to make a sequel as well, but Samuel L. Jackson only appears very briefly in it. Sort of, there's this one, it's about a minute long, see. It is really just a cameo where he sort of pops up and he robs this restaurant, and then Eddie Murphy essentially knocks him down with a stick.
But arguably that was his claim to fame. I'm sorry if you can hear background noise. I literally said to my brother, don't slam the door, and he deliberately makes that much noise.
Adds texture to the...
No,
I don't know.
we already tried this once, and we had to delete a clip because he came in and shouted up the stairs while we were filming. I'm going now, but okay.
Well, it's fine.
Alright, so coming next, obviously these might not be in, but this is his main films, arguably. So coming next is The Goodfellas. He stars in.
Goodfellas, yeah. He plays a character called Stack Edwards. Apparently, I haven't seen it.
Neither have I. I literally looked up on Wikipedia, but apparently that was one of his main draws, because in Coming to America, that was a cameo, really. Whilst in Goodfellas was his first, arguably, main role.
It wasn't really a main role. As far as I'm aware, he sort of had a small role, but you know, it's his first role in a notable film.
It was still more than a cameo. So
yeah.
Works out. Alright, and arguably one of my favourite appearances of Samuel L. Jackson, 1993, Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park.
Indeed. Well, this is really the first big budget, high grossing appearance of Samuel L. Jackson. Obviously he plays a character who constantly smokes. He's he hasn't really got his can-do attitude, but he's there, he's reluctant, and Luke, this is Luke's film. I love Jurassic Park. It's a good film, and it's definitely the best in the series, I would say.
Jurassic Park.
I don't think it's been surpassed. I found Jurassic World was very derivative, and also a little bit meek in comparison.
I mean, they did the best they could with a weak idea. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
But whilst Jurassic Park, generally he plays a character. I don't think you ever get his first name, but I do remember he's been referenced as Mr. Arnold. So he's a techno. I don't know what you would call that, but he's like a communications advisor in Jurassic Park, the head of communications area. He monitors the cars, the vehicles, and arguably is one of Jurassic Park's only saviours. Obviously there was some personal issue, but yeah, so where was I? He's kind of the saviour of Jurassic Park, arguably, because when the storm hits, the tropical storm, he's in charge of keeping the electrical fences and things online, so obviously we don't get the T-Rex and that breakout. If you've seen the film, you know how that turned out, but at the end of the day, he was one of the, I wouldn't say main characters, but he was an important character.
Secondary character.
Because obviously John Hammond, Richard Attenborough, he's a great actor as well. He's the founder of Jurassic Park, it's his like masterpiece, and he's a trusted member of that. And well, let's just say there's a couple of funny slippers at the end, and unfortunately, don't worry, I did put a spoiler warning in front of this video. He meets his death off screen from a velociraptor, of which a let's say all that Ellie Sattler found was his arm, which was different considering how Samuel L. Jackson normally meets his demise in these films. But yeah, so anything you want to add?
I mean, all I'd say is obviously isn't the main thing that makes Jurassic Park work, but one of the main things that does make that movie work is the characters. You know, Jeff Goldblum's great in it, and Samuel's great in it, and Samuel L. Jackson, this is our first real exposure to him in the mainstream, I would say. You know, everyone saw Jurassic Park when it came out. That's what I'm saying, and that shows in, obviously, in the production values, and you get lots of breakthroughs in CGI and stuff.
And you saw how successful Jurassic Park was as a series. It got a trilogy, and then it got revived, Jurassic World, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and a confirmed entry of Jurassic World 3 will be 2021. That's been laid out. But arguably, Samuel L. Jackson's main role was in one of the best, this is kind of biased me saying best, but let's just say it's one of the biggest draws to cinema that there ever really has been. Steven Spielberg met his claim to fame from this, as well as Gremlins and arguably those sort of films.
I would say before that though, because in the 80s he was making E.T., Indiana Jones. You know, whilst he was making Jurassic Park, he speaks a lot about this. He was also making a film called Schindler's List, which is a very stark contrast to Jurassic Park. You know, deals with some very sort of serious events. So this was during the time when Steven Spielberg, I would say, was really coming to the forefront as Hollywood's biggest director. And various other things. But I think the way he works with actors, and he gets great performances out of everyone, you know, Laura Dern, Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Rich Attenborough, but Rich Attenborough doesn't really lead the guidance, and obviously Samuel L. Jackson. So
they had a good cast to work with, and arguably because some of the actors he was working alongside with were more famous at the time, like Richard Attenborough and Jeff Goldblum. They're arguably more famous than he was at the time, but maybe that was kind of, I wouldn't say that was what helped him, but nonetheless it was a boost in the right direction for his character, because it called more people to him after, because more people might have gone to see Jurassic Park in the cinema because of Richard Attenborough and the other actors, and seeing him in that film and how people could connect to him generally, funny lines and things like that, was probably what pushed him in the right direction for his bigger and arguably his most successful pieces. So Jurassic Park was a crucial moment for him.
Successful in security. Access main program grid.
You didn't say the magic word.
Please! God damn it! Hate this hacker crap!
Okay, so progressing from Jurassic Park, he went on to, I can't remember the dates, 1994, the following year, doing Pulp Fiction.
Yes, right. So you haven't seen this one, but I imagine lots of people have seen this one. I'm probably, well, I'm not going to say my age, but yeah, it is an 18, and it's his first time working with Tarantino, I believe, and they've sort of developed this working relationship. You know how some directors choose certain actors that they continually work with. It's a bit like that, and he's been in a lot of these films. We've got Jackie Brown as well, Kill Bill Volume 2, Django Unchained, etc., where he worked with Hateful Eight. And this is a real cult classic. And somehow this lost out on the Oscar in the year it was released to Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Which is a good film, it's fine. But this is a better film, arguably. It's just so much going on, and it's told out of sequence. It's got multiple different storylines. You've got a Bruce Willis storyline in there. You've got this one with John Travolta and Samuel Jackson. And then you've got a separate one with John Travolta and Uma Thurman. It's all sort of intertwining to form this very singular, probably never matched narrative. And it's got that snappy dialogue which Tarantino's so famous for, and it's probably my favourite Samuel L. Jackson performance, because he gets to play the most Samuel L. Jackson character out of them all, Jules Winfield.
Well, there you go, because I don't know what else I could add, because I don't know nothing about it, but let's just say that those sort of films I value, I guess, the ones that are different linking.
Have you ever seen those Winston Wolfe, I fix problems adverts?
I think I have,
Well,
yeah.
for the Direct Line or whatever it is, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's inspired by Pulp Fiction. That character is Pulp Fiction. Essentially, I'm not going to say what it is, but they get into a bit of a
spoiler warning.
they get into a bit of a scrape. They have a dead person in the back of their car, and they essentially bring in Winston Wolfe to fix their problems before Tarantino's character in the film, his wife, gets home.
Well then.
Yeah.
Okay, so after Pulp Fiction, he went on to Die Hard with a Vengeance in 1995.
Yeah, and it's the same as all the other Die Hard films. Bruce Willis, he's in a building, and he's got to get the people out of the building, or whatever it is he does in those ones. But it's alright. I sort of recall. I can't remember what he does in it. They all sort of blur into one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit like the Transformers films, but Die Hard films are much better than the Transformers films. But it's the same principle.
Okay, so then we went on to
Long Kiss Goodnight, which is apparently Samuel L. Jackson's favourite Samuel L. Jackson film, according to Samuel L. Jackson. And then, what else? Oh, and then Deep Blue Sea.
actually we have the one before that.
Did we?
We had Jackie Brown.
Oh, Jackie Brown.
1997.
Which is essentially just another Tarantino film, which I haven't seen that one.
You do notice that, guys, I'm referring to the sheet, because I only know the ones that I've watched.
In the 90s, everything's sort of interchangeable, mainly because I wasn't alive in the 90s. So you can sort of get away with
I wasn't alive in 1978, but that's how I
It's fine. It's a fine.
and yes, then 1999, Deep Blue Sea. I mean, you don't really need to draw on this one too much, because obviously when you think of shark films, everyone's go-to is Jaws. But you should nevertheless underestimate Deep Blue Sea. I feel like it over-dramatizes the deaths from the sharks a bit, but just generally overlooking it, it's got a good sort of principle. I mean, it's not too strong, but it does well, of where they want to cure Alzheimer's disease, and they use the DNA from these chemically modified sharks, because sharks have these regenerative abilities in their bloodstream and things that can help with those sort of disorders, and they do that, but something that they've concocted and come up with has mutated the sharks, growing them to massive sizes. And Samuel L. Jackson in this one, he's an executive who's been sent to monitor these experiments because apparently there was kind of a death in the start from one of the sharks, and that made the government thought it saw fit to send him to monitor everything that went on. But let's just say it didn't go well for Samuel L. Jackson.
I'm aware of this.
He wasn't
aware of this.
He wasn't exactly the most liked character in them, because when you ever get a government official in your own business, so if you take, I mean, this is an odd sort of example to go with, but if you take the TV series Luther, for example, Idris Elba's Luther, he has a very dramatic role. He plays by his own rules, and when he has a government official that comes into the mix, he doesn't like it very much. And the similar sort of thing goes on with Samuel L. Jackson here, although his character does change to be more on their side towards the end, and they all come to accept him, but unfortunately that wasn't quick enough and he got eaten by a shark. So
yes, I'm aware. I've seen that scene from the film. That's probably the thing I'm aware of most from it. It's the terrible CGI shark drank Samuel L. Jackson down or whatever. I'm also aware of the song that accompanied it by someone who I've forgotten the name of, where they used the lyric, "My hat is like a shark fin," which what does that even mean?
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
What does that even mean? It's not.
Okay then, so now we go down to arguably one of his next big pushes of his Samuel Jackson's career, The Phantom Menace Star Wars 1999, and I actually have that right here.
Yeah, there it is. So, he really doesn't do very much at all in this one. He sits around in the Jedi Council, he has some things with Yoda, and at the end he sort of goes, you know, Darth Maul wasn't a real Sith Lord. We've got to find this Sith Lord who's clearly the sinister-looking Chancellor in charge of the Senate, but they don't see that until Episode 3. Yeah, The Phantom Menace, you know, subjectively, it's not great.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favourite of the Star Wars franchise. I mean,
too much Jar Jar.
to be honest, like the ones in which you've got Darth Vader and all of these sort of characters, they're more connectable to me, because I don't know why, there seems to be a lot more going on that you could become interested in. I mean, not saying Phantom Menace is bad, because I did like it, it was just a little bit slow.
Yeah, there are some bewildering decisions in there, and also the dialogue is not good. It's not good at all. There are some good bits, you know, the Jewel of the Fates, if you remember that. It's such an awesome sequence. And the pop racing scene, some people hate it, I kind of liked it. It's fun.
It's interesting to see the fan base.
At least it had a bit of heart, even though most of it was made in a computer.
I mean, it is interesting to see these fan bases divide in areas, because one thing I have noticed, and you'll probably gather to know it about us as we keep pushing out these videos, is that typically, I wouldn't say me as much, but Joe's certainly one for. He's most of the fan base. If they are straight against something, Joe will tend to like that, and he's got good points to go to those areas. But like for instance, Samuel L. Jackson in this one, arguably that's one of the draws, because as I said earlier, Jurassic Park, one of the big pushes of his career. He obviously more people draw to his character, so arguably there's a larger percentage of people that went to see this film at the cinema that went for Samuel L. Jackson. And needless to say, I feel like the fan base might have been a bit disappointed with his role in the film, because
it's very small.
I'd say it's in more of an extended cameo. I'd say it's slightly more than Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom. Slightly more than that, but not too much. It's kind of similar. But there wasn't a massive draw.
Much better than the
Jackson.
2 sequels.
Yeah.
Much bigger, also.
Which we will draw to in a bit.
A Sith Lord.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
I do not believe the Sith could have returned without us knowing.
Ah, hard to see the dark side is.
We will use all our resources to unravel this mystery. We will discover the identity of your attacker. May the Force be with you.
Okay, so obviously his career had another big push from the Phantom Menace. I wouldn't say a big push actually, because it was more of a cameo, but we went on to, in 2000, Shaft.
Shaft, yeah, they've got a sequel coming up later this year, which I think will be on Netflix. Essentially, he's the son of the first Shaft. First Shaft was in the 70s, and it's sort of, yeah. It seems so fun. It's fun stuff. But we all had a great time with it.
Oh my god, not that line
like
again.
The movie Glass.
Which we'll withdraw to at the end of this
video. At the end of this video. We all had a great time with that movie.
And then, obviously, talking about that, strangely enough, the same year, Samuel L. Jackson starred in Unbreakable, which was the start of that series.
Unbreakable, yes. And so he plays Mr. Glass. This is going to sound really bad because I'm sort of a mocking defender of the movie Glass. I've been trying to get hold of Unbreakable for ages. I found it the other day. It was £8 for a movie that was out in 2000. That's too much. I think I'll just buy it online. I think.
I'd say you'd. I know a way you get around that, Joe. All you do is you buy a double disc set, right? It might say like £10 or whatever, but technically then you're getting Unbreakable for £5.
There you go.
Little tactics from
Little tactics. You've been told first. Okay, what have we got next?
Okay, so Attack of the Clones. Samuel Jackson's second appearance in Star Wars.
This one he gets more to do, which I like.
Which I think is better.
He gets the purple lightsaber.
A lot of people seem to be a bit confused by that. I don't see how you can really get too confused from a purple lightsaber.
Well, the reason he got it was because he was Samuel L. Jackson. He went up to George Lucas. This is the story he tells. Well, George Lucas said, you know, there's going to be this big scene at the end of the film where they're in the arena. I want to be able to find myself. So can you give me a purple lightsaber?
That's how you find yourself.
Well, you know, the lightsabers can even be green or they can be red or whatever. And then at the end of production, last minute, gave him a purple lightsaber. And apparently, he still got it, Samuel L. Jackson. And apparently inscribed on it is his trademark phrase, which is bad mother. you know what I'm saying. Which I can tell you a little bit of Samuel L. Jackson trivia about that. Or supposedly, according to Wikipedia, apparently when he was younger, he had a stammer.
Yeah.
Essentially, excuse me, he overcame said stammer by saying that word, and that's how he's the man he is today. I don't know. That's the trivia over. Okay.
But Attack of the Clones was definitely a better draw for the fan base because, obviously, as we said earlier, the Phantom Menace, he only had like an extended cameo really. Whilst this one, I wouldn't say he's got a main role yet, but he's still more of a draw than the Phantom Menace. So I think people appreciate that.
But also, this is the worst Star Wars movie. In my opinion, because it's just not very good. There's too much bad dialogue and romance, and but the ending is pretty good. I like the arena fight. I'll defend it with my life.
You would
like the
defend
movie Glass.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
No, I'm not going to say it. Right.
Okay, 2002, the birth of yours truly, became a film XXX.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
Xander Cage or whatever it is. With Vin Diesel.
As we all know, Dominic Toretto, Vin Diesel, one of the best action scenes.
Yeah. This is his other thing that he does in his spare time, and I don't care for it. So never seen it, and I don't want
never
to.
be able to tell. But that's
I know he's in it.
That's what
he's a villain.
He seemed to Samuel L. Jackson. Seems to me, he starts off on more of the side of, well, if you were to say in cinema, I mean, obviously not all films work this way, but just saying it as an example, a split between good and evil, obviously. Samuel L. Jackson starts more on the good on the films he stars in, and he slowly starts to drift more to evil. That's what I'd say. But then, obviously, in 2004, we had Kill Bill Volume 2.
I love they're Tarantino again. He has a very small role in this. He's literally, I think it must have been he went up to Tarantino and said, "I'm in a lot of your films. Why are we in this other film that I'm in?" Because he essentially has this cameo role. I shan't get into it because it's very small, but essentially he's just sort of this shadowy pianist character at Uma Thurman's character's wedding, which unfortunately everyone gets killed in. Spoiler alert. But yeah, I love the relationship they have as an actor and director, and I think they work really well together. And those are such good films. You've seen the first one in particular, I really like. Yeah, the second one's more character driven. The first one, it's just got this amazing 20-minute brutally violent action sequence at the end. It can't be missed.
Which is what I'm actually used to. Like, for instance, a crazed chainsaw running through a meat factory and saying, "Okay then, I want to get away from you, so I'm going to cut off your arm." So I'm no stranger at those things. Okay, and then arguably one of the bigger pushes of his career, arguably against Jurassic Park and the Phantom Menace, one of the bigger draws was The Incredibles, which was his first ever children's film, which means that more different audience members will connect to his films from 2004.
Yeah, Incredibles is fun. It's better than the sequel.
Well, I have not seen it.
Which is not, it's fine. I enjoyed it. It's just got a really bad film in the sequel. And we'll probably draw on that briefly later, but...
So he plays a character called Frozone in this one, who is Mr. Incredible's arguably, I wouldn't call him a sidekick, I would call him more of like a friend or an accomplice. Yeah. And let's say he has a larger role in the start of the film for being his friend and that, and because obviously from an accident that Mr. Incredible had trying to defend a train and things like that, the government decides that the superheroes can't do their superhero work anymore. So then they will defend themselves, and arguably he doesn't want to give that life up. And so him and Frozone, they do superhero work in secret, and arguably you don't see Frozone after the start of the film for a while until the concluding scenes where they fight Syndrome. Well, I wouldn't say fight as such, but they defend against Syndrome, and he drifts over a lake using ice.
He's just a cool character, really, isn't he?
Cool character.
Yeah.
Hey!
Yeah, and it allows the animators to sort of go a little bit wild with the sort of stuff they can do. And he gets that awesome line, doesn't he? You know, "Honey, where is my super suit?" Oh,
I love that one line. He's kind of like, "Come on, woman, we're talking about the greater good. I am the greatest good you're ever gonna get."
It's funny, and you know, it's top of the range Pixar, but it's no up, which is the great Pixar film in my opinion.
To be fair, obviously when I watch my horror films, Joe watches Marvel films, technically you kind of leave these films behind, but some children's films never really leave me, and I do like some, like for instance, I like The Lion King. I'm going to be seeing the one this year that comes out. Also, The Incredibles I like as well. So some childhood favourites do stay with you, like Ice Age. I will still watch that.
Yeah. Well, I think as well some childhood sort of films also live up to adult viewing, you know.
Yeah,
the
people
Lion
do
King,
want to go see them.
The Lion King, it's not exactly as though it's made, but for like a 8-year-olds.
Like for instance,
like the Lego Movie 2.
Yeah.
It's, you know, main character dies in it.
Yeah, I mean
spoilers for that movie.
My family really does like Jungle Book, and it can be appealed to more from the one that came out, I believe it was 2014. But because at the time we were used to seeing graphics, I don't know how you'd really give an example for it. Let's say Godzilla sort of graphics, and you think, okay, that's the stage we're at with that now. But Jungle Book exceeded that to those graphics we'd see now, more or less. Yeah. And that was impressive back then.
So amazing looking film, yeah.
That was really visually stunning. And Lion King, I believe, I don't know if it's produced by the same people, but
Jon Favreau is the director of The Lion King that's coming up.
So that obviously going to have the same visual effects, and because I thought the other one was visually stunning, I am looking forward to that.
Coming back to Jon Favreau later for the Iron Man films.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, then that was his next arguably push to fame in 2000.
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
Put it away!
Where?
Why do you need to know?
I need it!
Don't you think about running off to doing no daring do? We've been planning this dinner for 2 months.
The public is in danger!
My evening's in danger.
You tell me what my suit is, woman! We are talking about the greater good!
Greater good? I am your wife. I'm the greatest good you were ever gonna...
Okay, so after The Incredibles, in 2005, what was the film, Jim?
What was the film? Coach Carter. There you go, that was the film. Which is a film.
It's a film.
Then after Coach Carter, which I haven't seen, is another one with Vin Diesel.
One of the best action stars.
Yes, which XXX State of Union. Alright.
2005.
So, something I don't care for at all. And
Okay, so then we go on to Samuel Jackson. I believe this was his last Star Wars film, Revengeance.
I know I shouldn't love this film. I love this film. It's just so funny. It's just you know, like a film that's really watchable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got I could probably recite the lines.
You do know what I want to say, don't you, Jim?
What?
Hello there.
Yeah. Oh, that was a bad General Kenobi.
Oh,
there you go.
there we go.
Know that? I don't think so. No, it's just such an entertaining film in comparison with the first two as well. And he gets his infamous lightsaber duel with Palpatine. That is probably the worst lightsaber duel in the entire franchise.
Yeah, I was surprised by how his character Mace Windu went out, because obviously he was arguably winning the duel against Palpatine before Anakin was begging him not to kill him. This was before his turn, I believe it was, and obviously he was like, we have to bring him to justice and whatever, about to give the final blow to Palpatine. Anakin didn't want him to go, so on his behalf, cut off his lightsaber end, and obviously falling around, last blast of Force lightning from Palpatine, and out he goes.
He gets to say unlimited power. That's great. No, it's kind of, that's the moment, that's the turn. That's why I think Mace Windu is so important to that trilogy. It's just a great time though. We all have with it. No.
If we ever do get big, guys, that's going to be a t-shirt print.
Yeah. No, it's... that duel though is not good, is what I will say. It's iconic in the lines that, you know, I am the Senate, whatever. But it's just Ian McDiarmid's head pasted onto a stunt double's body, and not Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, well, it is Mace Windu.
Well, it is, yeah.
We're talking about the actor though, just sort of trying his best, and he's doing all the rehearsed moves and stuff, and he gets to wield his purple lightsaber for the last time, and then just Ian McDiarmid going, it's very strange, but it's a good movie. It's entertaining.
Would you like to repeat that action for us one more time, Joe?
I'm never going to do that again. Okay.
Well, savour that. You have to keep watching that.
So, in conclusion, we all love this film, including you, Luke. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't remember much.
And then we get to Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes on a Plane. Now, okay, I'll tell you a little bit of a very quick story about this. I obviously haven't seen this film myself, but a while ago, me and Joe went over to Great Yarmouth for a day. We went over to CEX, which we name our pick and mix shop technically, because obviously if we like films, and that's why we've got this channel here, we go in there and see how many of the films we like we can pick up. One of Joe's picks, I had like Gremlins and Paranormal Activity and things like that. Joe picked up Snakes on a Plane.
Right, this movie should be garbage, and I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty bad.
I do remember the one line, if I may.
Yeah, go on.
I've had it with these motherfucking snakes on this plane.
Yeah. I think when you think of a movie which is about, which is essentially about someone trying to kill someone by unleashing hundreds of snakes upon a flight that this person is on.
It doesn't make a
And,
lot of sense.
And Samuel L. Jackson is also on the flight as his character Neville Flynn. Classic Samuel L. Jackson character name. And it's such a weird premise. It's such a bad. It doesn't even make any sense, but it's weirdly entertaining. But this is the period where Samuel L. Jackson just made these weirdly sort of. Yeah, I really like. I didn't really like it. I didn't like it as much as Revenge of the Sith, but I kind of enjoyed it. It was a good time, not a great time though.
Don't say it. You said it way too much. Okay, so we'll talk about these two together because they're the same series. 2008 and 2010's Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
Yeah, well, in Iron Man he appears at the end to sort of launch the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so to speak, and say, I'm here to talk to you about the Avengers Initiative, or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
so obviously hasn't got a massive draw, but it introduces Nick Fury in the mix, who's the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., who's arguably the basis for the Avengers, and obviously Tony Stark, Iron Man, they want him to join the Avengers, and I'm guessing all really that happens is he tries to convince Tony Stark to join the Avengers.
And that's what Iron Man 2 is all about. Iron Man 2 is a very overstaffed film because you've got this whole thing about Tony Stark, he's trying to work out how to save his own life, and he's struggling with alcoholism, comic influence, but also you've got Nick Fury's trying to say, join the Avengers, or maybe don't at the end, sort of thing. So I kind of like Iron Man 2. I think it's okay. But
I mean,
that is essentially just set up for sequels.
I will say it's a relatively strong series, not massively, but
yeah,
it's doing quite well for
itself. And I like the whiplash scene with the race cars. It's good.
Okay, and that leads us on to arguably again another one of the pushes of his career. The Avengers, the very first Avengers film that he ever starred in, arguably he stars in all of them, but this was the start. And obviously reprising Nick Fury in this one.
Yeah.
He brings together the Avengers for the first time from films that, like for instance, Scarlett Johansson's character, Black Widow, doesn't have her own series, neither does Hawkeye, but they come into that, and obviously you've got characters who do have their own films, like Chris Evans's like presentation of Captain America, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, and what's his name? The Hulk. Oh,
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo,
come on, Luke.
I knew that as
on
well.
Your game.
I didn't get that. Okay, I'm tired of it.
I'll forgive you. Well, no, I think it's so clever how they did this because even Black Widow appears in Iron Man 2, which is even more so now a really stuffed film when it comes to think about it. Hawkeye appears briefly in 4. Coulson appears briefly in. Does he? Yeah, he appears in Iron Man 2, I think. But I love the Avengers. It's a great film. It's better than its sequel, but it's not better than its third sequel. I suppose its second sequel, or its third film, so to speak, which is Infinity War.
Which I have to admit, I really did like that. And Infinity War, I have to say, it's kind of stunned me to start with. Because when I went into the Avengers films, I assumed it was going to be the classic mix. And obviously, you know what you were calling yourself in guys, I didn't put spoiler alert at the start of it. But everyone thought, okay, it's going to be the classic, heroes are going to win as usual. But they had Thanos snap his fingers, and when we walked out of the cinema, there's not a lot you can really say to each other, especially if you really treasure the series, really like the series. I mean, obviously I am not a massive draw to Marvel, but I really enjoyed that film, but it was a big shock considering what I've seen from the others.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll address it probably briefly because in Infinity War, Samuel L. Jackson only appears briefly at the end to disintegrate. Spoiler alert. But Avengers, he gets to do some cool stuff. He gets to fire a rocket at a helicopter that's taking off.
Jet. It's a jet.
It's a jet. I remember, Luke. It's just for the purpose of whatever.
Okay, but 2012's Avengers was arguably another big push for Samuel L. Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
How desperate are you? You call on such lost creatures to defend you.
How desperate am I? You threaten my world with war. You steal a force you can't hope to control. You talk about peace and you kill because it's fun. You have made me very desperate. You might not be glad that you did.
Okay, so after the Avengers, Samuel L. Jackson went on to a film which I've never for the life of me heard of. It was, again, 2012, so the same year. Django Unchained.
Right. As far as I've never seen this is another collaboration with Tarantino, who he will never stop working with until
he
dies, yes. A bit like how James Cameron will never stop making Avatar sequels.
I mean, to be fair, I did quite like Avatar. People don't give it enough credit. I do quite like it.
But does it warrant 4 more sequels?
You might not really like that. And I thought the visual effects were really good.
It's alright, so it's okay. But yeah, Django Unchained, very violent, and apparently it's alright. And apparently it's quite good. But that's the film.
Then we have RoboCop. When was that made?
2014, right?
2014.
Yeah.
So the 2 years after, RoboCop. I've been told about it, and I've been told that it's generally good as a series. But to be honest, I've not had a massive draw to it because it sounds like a copy of one of my favourite action series.
Like Terminator, I think is what
Yeah,
you're thinking.
Terminator is one of my favourite action series just because I don't know why I just connected with it. But RoboCop sounds to be very similar, and I don't go for series that sound incredibly similar to ones I've already seen, so it doesn't sound like it's going to be much of a change.
Yeah, well, the original film, which I've seen, it's good. It's very dated.
Yeah.
So it was made in the 80s, and it is a product of the 80s. Do you know what I mean? But it is iconic. You know, people know the RoboCop character, and this one wasn't good apparently.
Right.
But
okay.
there you go. We'll move on because we don't care for RoboCop.
Okay, then we have the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, 2014, the same year, reprising Nick Fury in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
This is a great film. It's my second favourite Captain America film after Civil War, which people love this film though. A lot of people say this is the best film in the MCU. I wouldn't go that far. It's a good film. It's directed by the Russo brothers, who did Civil War and Infinity War as well. And Samuel L. Jackson, effectively, his role is, you know, shields collapsing. Essentially, they're figuring out, oh my goodness, Hydra's running shield, which you would have thought they'd found out in the Avengers when Tony started the full background check on shield. But no, they didn't. And it's good. It's good. Samuel L. Jackson gets some amazing action scenes. There's loads of stunt work in it. Not as much green screen as you would get in Infinity War or whatever. And it's got this sort of gritty 70s espionage thriller type thing going for it. He's really good at it. All the actors are very good.
Okay, so after that we have Kingsman, which was the exact same year, and he plays a character called Richmond Valentine.
Yeah, Richmond Valentine. So, essentially, I now do this impression of Samuel L. Jackson, where I go, Samuel L. Jackson, and yeah, essentially that's inspired by this film. Samuel L. Jackson affects a list in this film. He's playing a villain called Richmond Valentine. This is the first Kingsman film. There's another one that was released a couple of years later, which isn't as good as this one. But really what he's doing is he gets to cut loose a little bit, so it's a film that's not afraid to have fun, and it's really a fun take on James Bond. I mean, it's inspired by a series of graphic novels and stuff, but it's directed by Matthew Vaughn, and he did stuff like Kick-Ass and X-Men First Class. So it's got that sort of nice, almost. I mean, I really like it. It's pretty good. Pretty good film by a pretty good director with a good villain. And the villain is much better than the villain in the sequel, portrayed by Julianne Moore. And also, people's heads explode at the end.
Oh right, well you always need a bit of that.
And also, he gets impaled and he froze up because his character, he's sort of got this thing where he can't look at blood, or he'll throw up.
Oh right.
Essentially, so he's sort of like a flawed antagonist.
Guess he was in the wrong film then.
And yeah, he gets impaled, and he throws up. It's quite funny. It's good.
Okay, so then we have the next push for Samuel L. Jackson, Age of Ultron, The Avengers.
Another smaller role. I think he likes doing these Marvel. Obviously he does, because he's doing 2 this year, isn't he? He's doing Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home.
One thing I do say about him in that, I mean, obviously he hasn't got massive roles. He did in the Avengers, but not as much in Age of Ultron, and that he likes to star in these cameos, but I think he does really well to retain his high profile where he's built up over time. And because people go to see films for him at times like that, considering Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans and that, they have the main roles of the film, he does really well to retain the spotlight even on the small parts.
Yeah, I mean, his cameo, he sort of comes out of the part and he's like, I'm here now, I'm Nick Fury, and I'm back, and you're fixing your tractor, and now you can talk to me about your vision or whatever. And it's that sort of, he always has that sort of overlooking role. I think that's something that they're going to be looking into in Phase 4 with films like Spider-Man Far From Home, where, depending on what happens to Tony Stark in Endgame, he's probably going to be looking for a sort of mentor figure again.
The ongoing debate, who is going to die? Well, to be completely honest, how I'm going to see it, I don't think Iron Man will go.
I don't think he will either.
But I think there is some possibility that Chris Evans, Captain America, might. Because we know that that they've got to collect the stones to face against Thanos, but what we don't really know is how they're going to do it. Now, we know the Soul Stone requires a sacrifice, and what I think will probably happen is Tony, right, okay, I'm going to go do it. No, you won't, I'll do it. And then there you go. Ceremonial, a lot of sad music, and then go back to the fight.
Yeah, well, I mean, my reasoning for believing that Tony will live is essentially he's got to get married. He's got too much to live for, I think. And whereas Captain America, being a man out of time, he's left behind the life he could have had. He's sort of out of place.
Because people do feel like maybe because the Hulk was hiding in Infinity War, people feel like that obviously Professor Hulk might be made, but after Professor Hulk's made, he might be the one to wield the gauntlet. I don't think that will happen. I feel like Tony will wield the gauntlet that he made because everyone was stating, and it is true from the film in certain ways, Tony Stark's the only person Thanos faced of which he respected and somewhat feared, because Tony, obviously Thanos said to him, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge. So I feel like because he said to Tony, you're cursed with knowledge, he respects and somewhat fears him for what he knows. And I feel like that's probably going to be why he can be the only one really to wield the gauntlet against Thanos in the end. But one thing I do know, Thanos can't be twice. So
yeah. Well, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm trying not to speculate too much because I don't want to spoil the film for myself in some ways. Do you know what I mean? I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay, but skimming over, let's just be quick with these two.
Okay,
2015, Hateful Eight.
Again, Tarantino. Tarzan.
2016.
Another thing.
Another XXX, Return of the XC
Vin Diesel
in 2017, so we're coming more recent now. And then one of my favourites, because I'm a massive fan of the MonsterVerse, I really enjoyed Godzilla. Kong Skull Island came out, and obviously definitely have that on DVD. And I kind of, after seeing that Tom Hiddleston was one of the main roles, Brie Larson, who is going to become Captain Marvel, I was not surprised that he was in the running for this film because it seems to be an all-Marvel cast, more or less. Obviously you've got John Goodman in there, who runs one of the operatives for Monarch, which is the cryptozoological agency who monitors kaiju activity. Well, they're now called Titans, which I prefer Titans, to be fair.
Titans got a sort of ring to it.
And with the new TV spot that came out for Godzilla King of the Monsters showing Rodan and Ghidorah converging in the clouds, really hyped, and this film becomes even more important. So basically, general overlook, they charter John Goodman and they hire a military unit led by Samuel L. Jackson, or as he's called in this film, General Packard. they take a mercenary called Conrad, who's Tom Hiddleston, and I can't remember Brie Larson's character's name, but
a bland Brie Larson character.
But yeah, she was. But she's kind of like a conflict photographer, I guess you could call her. But they take them to like track the island, and that after Tom Hiddleston's great line, you came here looking for a tracker. Who or what am I tracking? I think that was pretty cool. They take them to Skull Island, start dropping bombs on it to map out the scales. That is a technique used actually, but which is starting to be outlawed across other countries. I feel like Kong was very much conservation. He was raising awareness about that in some ways, but that definitely, I feel like, didn't make Kong very happy at all. Stranded them down, wiped out half of his attack force from General Packard, and that turns him from a caring general to just full of revenge, and ultimately meets his demise because no single person can take on Kong and live to tell the tale.
Exactly. Oh, I like this film. I enjoyed it more than Godzilla. I think what's really apparent, especially in Samuel L. Jackson's performance, is that Samuel L. Jackson can deliver anything with gravitas, and also a certain level of charisma as well. Because no disrespect to Tom Hiddleston, no disrespect to Brie Larson, because I think they're both good actors in their own right. But Tom Hiddleston in this film feels quite low energy, and that might be a typical choice. A choice of his own making, but he sort of downplays it quite a lot. And Samuel L. Jackson, I always find he always commits to his performance, you know what I mean? And he can deliver something with gravitas. He can make a line stick with you.
I thought that was a pretty strong film because, again, I feel like the Monsterverse became a lot more strong when Kong came out, because obviously the Marvel Cinematic Universe by that time had a lot of people being drawn to it, because round about when this came on, it's been announced that Thanos was coming into the MCU by the time this came out, and obviously people started coming a lot more to that, connecting with the characters from MCU, and I feel like knowing that this cast here, Brie Larson, which people knew to be Captain Marvel, Loki, Nick Fury, just those sort of personalities from MCU drew a lot of people to the Monsterverse, and that's why the Monsterverse grew, and why I feel like Godzilla King of the Monsters is going to be one of the higher grossing films, because there's just Samuel L. Jackson generally is a big draw for cinema nowadays, and when Kong came out, arguably for me, that's one of my favourite appearances of him, just because it shows a full character development, and that's something I don't see very often. And the fact that his revenge has taken over him, it creates a lot of suspense, and it makes you, because in the Monsterverse, when you see Godzilla, Kong, the Mutos, Skullcrawlers, these massive titans, you don't really connect with people as much, but Kong did so well in getting you to respect human characters a lot more and allow you to connect with them in the future, because Kong was able to be taken down by a General Packard, meaning that the humans are a stronger force than you might think, and that does swing towards realistic views on conservation and things like that as well.
Indeed. And I had a good time with it.
We all had a good time.
You had a great time with it. Not a great time. I'd say a good time.
I don't know.
You had a great time with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Men, place your charges. It's time to show Kong that man is king.
Okay, so coming on to more of the modern eras of his career, as they've come on from 1988 all the way up until present-ish, we have The Hitman's Bodyguard from 2017.
This is fine. I have a friend who says that this is his favourite film. It's okay. I mean, here's what I'd say. It's sort of outlandish, and it's zippy, and it's a typical sort of action film. A little bit of heart, a little bit of humour, but it's okay. You know, it's nothing special, I would say. It's got Ryan Reynolds acting opposite Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson essentially plays this infamous killer And he does that well. You know, he gives a traditional Samuel L.
Traditional
Johnson.
Samuel L. Johnson.
Jackson. Oh, like, that all went wrong. It all went wrong. A typical Samuel L. Johnson performance. There you go. Let's move on quickly. How did that all go wrong? Samuel L. Johnson. Then after that, Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Which we sort of talked about. It's things happen in it. It's a great. It's one of my favourite MCU film probably.
I really enjoy Infinity War. I feel like that's probably my favourite MCU entry. What I will say is I was very surprised and I was very impressed with Samuel Jackson's role. He only had a very, very short role, but it was very important as to the rest of the MCU, and that's what made it. I thought the Russo brothers were really clever doing that, because when they had him fade away, doing his mother, and yeah, obviously it's classic, and he drops the little device calling Captain Marvel. Now, that really made me quite happy, because that was a very clever move to make, and I thought, okay, how are you exactly going to make this link in? You've done so much, and you've done so well in incorporating so many characters into one film. How exactly are you going to carry that on? That's very tough to carry on, but they did it, and it was very subtle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great way to market Captain Marvel, because everyone saw Infinity War, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, obviously that'll do good things to that film, unless that film isn't good, in which case that will do bad things to Avengers Endgame.
I mean, when you watch Infinity War and you connect with it, what I will say is, and what would work in this film's favour is, for instance, whenever I go to the cinema to see an MCU film, I typically don't see it more than once. Not because they're bad. I like them all pretty much. It's just they're not films I technically go back to see a couple of times. I saw Infinity War 3 times, so that was a very big draw for me, and I quite like that. But Infinity War, we talked about it from pretty much the start of this video, so I don't think that we needed to do that. That's good.
And then we've got Incredibles 2.
Incredibles 2, I did not see the sequel, so I need to rely on Joe, really.
Yeah. Fine.
He plays the same character, Frozone.
Yeah, Frozone.
We've pretty much talked about this, I assume, for Incredibles 1. You don't really get much more of a focus, I'd imagine.
To be honest, it's... When you compare it with like a film like Into the Spider-Verse, not that great. It's okay. It's enjoyable. It's fine, 2 hours. And the animation is great, there's some great action and so forth, but I will forget about it within the next month. I don't know, or something. I mean, I didn't see it, I'm not saying that I saw it this month, but I saw it last year, but okay, I will forget about it in time, is what I'm saying.
And now we come into the year we're in now, 2019. I've been going long, and we've already got some entries from Samuel L. Jackson, which I'd say worked, just. We have Glass from 2019. Now, when we saw this one, that was an introduction to the series for me. I had not seen Split, I had not seen Unbreakable, and to be introduced to the series from this film, I'd say if I'd have gone to a cinema like Odeon, which now has changed their prices, so happy with that, but if I'd have gone when the prices were still like £15 to go and see a film, or something like that, I would have been disappointed, because I don't know, just spending that much money and you don't get one of the films you're hoping to get isn't really great. But since I spent £5 on it, it was worth seeing, we'll say that. And here comes Joe's line.
What Luke's not telling you is that he, along with everyone that we went with, had a great time with that movie. Alright. Spoilers for Glass. Okay. Spoilers for Glass. It's got some look. When I said we had a great time with it, we didn't really. It was okay. I quite enjoyed most of it.
I feel like what that film was the pacing was kind of off, because most of the scenes they worked well, but they dragged them on too long for the majority of the film, so it was slow. By the time you got to the concluding scene, it was too fast, so it was like the pacing was a bit off.
I really enjoyed the first 2/3 of the film. Then the final act was a little bit all over the shop, I would say. You got weird creative choices, like Bruce Willis getting drowned in a puddle.
Yeah, I thought that was odd. Like,
or the cult.
he's got
the cult that meets in a cafe.
He's got a weakness for water, and I would have thought that having a weakness for water, if you were to kill off that character, maybe it would have been in that water tank, or there would have been like a flood or something. Something more ceremonial than a puddle, because it doesn't seem right to drown one of the main characters in a puddle.
Yeah, but then again, it also doesn't seem right to tap a character when they die. But with Samuel L. Jackson as well, I mean, I kind of get it. I kind of got, he got his plan worked, but here's the problem with his plan. Like, he's supposed to be a genius. How are people meant to believe that someone can bend the bar, or they lift the car? But this could just be a student project, you know what I mean? It doesn't prove the existence of superheroes. If it had been that big building that they keep saying, ooh, there's going to be a big fight here, and people are gonna die, we're gonna be superheroes, and if it had been there, yeah, it's believable. People have seen it, there's so many witnesses, but they were at this off-state sort of asylum hospital thing. No one's gonna believe it, are they? You know what I mean? I don't know. But we all had a great time with it, is the important thing.
Alright, so now these are the films that we know he's in, which have not come out yet. Now, we're not far away, we're slightly over 2 weeks from Captain Marvel. I've seen the overlook of him in the trailer for that, and to be honest, obviously it's a modern view of Samuel L. Jackson, because it's meant to be like quite far in front of the Avengers and that. And to be honest, I think that role fits with him. I think it looks like it will work.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to play a younger version of Nick Fury, which will be interesting to see. Apparently he's very different, and clearly he likes cats now, which is a little bit of an odd move.
And then we have 2 more, which are the...
And he's going to lose his eye. We're going to see that as well, aren't we?
Really? Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, probably to that cat, I would imagine. Who's apparently a flurkin. Well, if they go by the comics, there's such a thing as a flurkin, which is an alien inside a cat.
Right.
Which I imagine will take out his eye.
That's why the cat's in the posters. Alright, so
Conspiracy theory.
Then we have Shaft, which Joe drew upon earlier, which is technically Shaft 2, 2019.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be on Netflix, probably. And it's going to have 3 generations of Shaft. Have you seen the trailer?
No, I haven't.
It's alright. It's alright. And then Spider-Man Falcon,
which obviously
awesome.
People like this Spider-Man. To be honest, I think it's good. It works. It's just one thing I have is that yes, Spider-Man, you want to make him appear like, I've got a normal life. I go to high school, things like that. I get that, and that's good. That's fine. But I'm not too. I don't quite like how they make him too much like that, because now he's kind of like, I can't go save the world, I've got homework to do, and stuff like that. He's a bit wimpy, and I don't really know if I like that.
I like Tom Holland. He's better than Andrew Garfield.
I mean, it's nothing to do with the actor, it's just the way that he's been told to act. It's just...
Speaking of acting, ironic that I watched Spider-Man 2 the other day. Tobey Maguire.
Hooray!
Yeah. He's just, I don't know. It's quite good how he does it, but at the same time, also bad somehow. I don't know.
Those films, number 3. Tobey Maguire, number 3.
Number 3 is not as good as the other 2, but, it's still enjoyable. And you had an amazing time with it, Luke.
Do I look like I had an amazing time?
You had an amazing Spider-Man 2 time with it. Equivalent to that.
I can't remember anything.
Right.
Oh no. Welcome.
Okay.
We're about to run out of tape.
So, I don't know about that. But anyways, guys, so that is our general overlook of the career of Samuel L. Jackson. Obviously, this doesn't include every film he's been in, 'cause we'll be here forever. But these are the films that arguably are his claims to fame. His main push is generally being Jurassic Park, one of its first, The Phantom Menace, or kickstarted Star Wars, its first children's film, big draw, incredible, 2004. This arguably his main start to the MCU being the Avengers, Kong Skull Island drawing more people to the Monsterverse, and obviously we've got Captain Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home, Shaft, and others coming up.
And others, yes.
So, okay, so we think we've wrapped that up. So, thanks so much for watching this video if you managed to get through it all.
If you have, well done. You get a free
There's one thing
Samuel Jackson movie.
Because one thing I do notice is that technically when you look at analytics for YouTube, people don't normally watch the full video. They will get to the bits that they want. So therefore, guys, I'm going to put in the description in case you won't even hear me say this, but if you want to hear us talk about specific films from Samuel L. Jackson, I'm going to put the time codes in the description. I will also link Joe's website in the description, so you go check out those reviews. And
I don't know if he said they're delightful. We all agree.
Well, there we go.
We all, mainly the two people in this room agree.
Okay, so just thanks for watching in general. If you haven't checked out our top 10 films you may or may not have heard of, then that will be on the channel. Obviously, you can check that out because this is our second video on this channel. Thank you for a positive start. This has been Planet Cinema with your hosts Luke and
Joe.
Whatever you want it to be.
No, we've done this already in the episode.
Oh, you can do it more than once. Alright, and we just want to say thanks for watching.
I bid you adieu.
See you later.